faces around the locker room getting back to work this week?
Yeah, you know what I told the guys after today's walkthrough was the best thing about winning a playoff game is you get another week with each other. It's not guaranteed, right? But we found a way to win that football game, and now we bought ourselves another week, and we got a tough test ahead of us. But anytime you can prolong your season, and especially with the locker room we have and the guys and the bonds we've formed in this team, it's always special just to have that extra week, and hopefully we have another week after this one.
It happened twice this year that you beat a team 4 times, Ottawa and now Hamilton. Every time you told us how tough it is to beat a team 4 times. What do you do not to have it happen to you against Toronto?
Yeah, you know, that's the odds would be in our favor, right? But to tell you the truth, the way that we've played and done it, I don't know how many times I've seen that. I don't know the exact statistic on it, but over the course of my career in the CFL, I don't know. It's happened very often where you beat the same team 4 times, and even we beat Hamilton 5 times if you count the preseason game, right? So same thing with Ottawa. So to tell you the truth, though, we have our hands full with a great Toronto team that's coming off a bye week. They're going to be well rested. They're going to be amped up to play, but also there's something to be said about playing in the first round where you can get in rhythm. You can get that playoff atmosphere, that high intensity, the high pressure situations, and you can let that momentum carry you over into the East Final. So we're going to do that, and we know we got to play our best game against them. But looking back at the tape and the last 3 times we played them, I think the big reason why we were on the losing end was because we lost the turnover battle in all 3 of those games. And one of those games at their place being, I believe 5-0. So any chance you lose the turnover battle, you have a high percentage to lose the game. So that's the main focal point going into this one is win the turnover battle, and that should give us a chance to win in the 4th quarter, and that's all you can ask when you go against a 16-2 football team.
Yeah, you just mentioned their record. I mean, clearly the pressure is going to be on them. How do you like, being the underdog, because everybody says, well, Toronto has to go to the Grey Cup since they tied the best record, in the league, in the history of the league. The best regular season record, I should say.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think my whole career has been underdog mentality. So it's a position I like to be in. It's a position I'm familiar with, as I think a lot of guys on this roster are underdogs. So we're just excited for the opportunity to have another week. And, Coach Moss said it great. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And so, beating a 16-2 Toronto team and then winning a Grey Cup, you would go down as one of the best teams in CFL history just from what you did, the standpoint that you did. So that opportunity is ahead of us, and we're excited. We're going to go out at full steam, but like I told you guys, we're going to have to play our best football to beat a really talented football team. They have Grey Cup experience on that roster. They have guys who have played in meaningful football games, and so that's why I think it was so big for us in the first round to get a lot of our young guys that playoff experience. And then at the end of the day, when you hit the playoffs, records are thrown out the window, and it's the best team that shows up that day wins. And so for us, that's the mentality, is when we go into their place, we're going to have to steal it from them. They're not going to give us anything. We got to go in and steal it.
Talk a little bit about the ground game, and you were able to get your legs loose and pick up some good yardage on your own, but also pounding them at the end of the game with stand back and running the ball. How much does that not only give you the ability to put that game away, but to jump you forward to next week? Without
a doubt. I think that was one of the best things we did was in that game offensively. When we needed to play, we made plays. And that was the whole offense from passing to running. The guys stood on their heads when the game was on the line and when we needed to have a play, and some tremendous catches down the field, some great blocks at the end of the game, and watching the game was really exciting. But like you said, if you want to win playoff games, you have to be able to run the football, and that's plain and simple. And I've seen it every single year I've been in this league. And usually the weather is a little bit of a dictation of why you have to run the ball, but we were blessed with beautiful weather last Saturday, and from what I hear, the weather on this Saturday should be pretty decent as well. So but anytime you can run the ball and close out a game by running the ball and staying on the field, that's what you want to do as an offense. And when we took the field, I told the team, I said, look, we want to end with the ball in our hands. Don't give them a chance. And so we were able to go out there and end the ball with our hands in the victory formation, and that means a lot.
Do you feel like they're a little bit scared, not wanting to go against a team that just won 6 in a row?
Well, I told you guys earlier on in the year, I've been a part of a Grey Cup winning team that wasn't the best overall team in the year. We just got hot at the right time. And like I said, usually a team that gets hot at the right time has the best chance to go. They're going to give us their best game, and I don't think they're going to be scared of anybody because they're 16-2, and as they should be. They got a lot of confidence, but this is one team that you don't want to play against. Like you said, 6 games in a row, we're hot at the right time, and we got unbelievable bond and relationships in that locker room, and so do they. But it's going to be one of those CFL games in my opinion, that comes down to the fourth quarter and the last 3 minutes, and it's going to be exciting. And I just can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
We talked about turnovers before, Cody, but I'm curious, the one on September the 9th at BMO, what else did you guys learn in that space at that game?
Well, I think the biggest thing was Austin Mack learned not to lose his mind a little bit, right? We lost Austin Mack after, I believe, 4 or 6 plays. And that's, you lose an all-star receiver, you're losing your number one target in a game that we had to win. So he knows it. We all know it. And that was, something that dictated. Now, Chandler Worthy came in that game and played unbelievably, and he stepped in. But anytime your all-star receiver is out in the first quarter, it's always going to be a little bit difficult against a good team like Toronto. The one thing that's encouraged me going into this week is 2 of the 3 games basically was one possession games and came down pretty much to the end. So a couple things here or there, and winning the turnover battle, it might be on the, a different side of it. We might be on the winning side. And that's why it's such a big focal point this week of winning the turnover battle. If you look at our wins this year and I look at our losses this year, if the turnover battle is what screams off the page. So for us to go into that game, we have to be able to play really good football, run the ball, dictate what we want to do on offense, and then let our defense feast and try and keep their offense on the sideline as long as they can while we can drive the field, eat up some clock, and then go from there.
Marc-Antoine, à pareille date, l'année dernière, il y avait beaucoup de questions concernant l'unité défensive. Même, on se disait, en tout cas dans les médias, est-ce que Noel Thorpe devrait être de retour? Mais cette année, la défense a été la force de l'équipe. Puis, on l'a vu la semaine dernière. Toi, comment tu expliques cette grande amélioration qu'on a vue du côté de l'unité défensive?
Écoute, je pense une des choses, il y a plusieurs choses qui est arrivées à ça. Premièrement, ça reste les joueurs qu'on a. C'est sûr qu'à la fin de la journée, tu peux appeler le meilleur jeu si les joueurs n'exécutent pas. Ça reste que c'est la job est à nous d'exécuter les jeux. Puis je pense qu'on a des joueurs d'impact comme Sean Lemon qui a été nouveau avec nous. Un joueur comme Daryl Sankey qui est assez incroyable. Une recrue Reggie Stubblefield qui a une saison assez impressionnante. Donc, je pense que c'est des joueurs comme ça ont aidé. Puis aussi, une autre chose, Noel Thorpe a vraiment travaillé sur, je pense, qu'est-ce que beaucoup a été critiqué dans sa défensive. Puis tu le vois, nous, on l'a vu, que ça a été beaucoup d'amélioration de l'année passée. Et aussi, on a un peu travaillé sur l'année passée. On n'est pas arrivé... Il faut comprendre, Noël est arrivé en plein milieu de la saison. Il n'y a pas eu de camp d'entraînement. Il a dû installer la base pendant les premières semaines. Donc, c'est très difficile d'avoir une défensive assez imposante quand c'est en plein milieu de saison. Donc là, il y a une saison complète qui, je pense, un plus, c'est un terme anglais, mais fair assessment de qu'est-ce qu'il peut faire, de qu'est-ce que sa défensive peut faire. Donc, avec une saison complète et plus un noyau de vétérans qui connaît un peu plus sa défensive, je pense que tout ça, c'est un beau mélange pour qu'on ait un succès cette année.
Toronto, vous n'avez pas eu de succès contre eux cette saison, mais est-ce qu'il y a encore un goût amer de la façon dont ça s'est terminé l'année passée, à pareille date contre eux? Aussi, dans le dernier match de la saison régulière, cette année que vous avez disputé contre eux, ça s'est décidé dans les derniers instants. Ça a été des matchs, vous êtes passé près à plusieurs reprises. C'est-tu un élément de plus pour motiver les gars?
Ben écoute, moi, il y a des joueurs qui n'ont pas vécu ça, donc pour eux, c'est nouveau. Mais pour moi, je ne l'ai pas oublié. J'ai pas oublié comment ça s'est terminé, puis j'ai utilisé cet événement-là pour me motiver, je te dirais, à l'année longue. L'objectif de l'équipe, c'était de retourner à pareille date, même situation, mais de cette fois-là, finir le travail. Puis on est beaucoup plus confiant que l'année passée. On a eu, je pense je vais parler du côté défensif, on a une unité beaucoup plus solide, beaucoup plus complète que quand on les a affrontés en début de saison, et même comparativement à l'année passée, évidemment, mais je suis en début de saison ou dans le milieu de saison. Donc, c'est quelque chose que, évidemment, tu es bon au football de passer à la prochaine semaine, mais ça reste derrière la tête comment ça s'est fini, puis de ne pas répéter la même situation.
Vous avez battu 2 fois cette année une équipe, 4 matchs, Ottawa puis Hamilton. Chaque fois, vous nous avez dit à quel point c'est difficile d'accomplir ça. Comment on fait pour ne pas se retrouver de l'autre côté, pour ne pas vivre une 4e défaite contre la même équipe à la même saison?
Ben écoute, tu l'as bien dit, on était dans une situation où est-ce qu'on avait le dessus. Donc là, on est dans une situation où c'est qu'on n'a pas le dessus. Je pense que honnêtement, c'est des semaines comme surtout en série éliminatoire, moi je vois ça un peu comme une page blanche. Vraiment, c'est court le laps de temps qu'on les a affrontés, mais je sens qu'on est vraiment différents comme unité. Puis pour nous, juste la série de victoires qu'on a eues nous a mis en confiance. j'ai le sentiment que c'est à eux de perdre ce match-là. Nous, on arrive là avec le couteau entre les dents, on arrive là, on est prêt à exécuter notre football, puis on est confiant en qu'est-ce qu'on peut exécuter. Puis c'est juste se focusser sur nous, sur qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire, et pas de penser dans le passé, de voir qu'est-ce qui est arrivé dans le passé, et de s'améliorer de ça, mais de pas trop laisser ça nous affecter. Ça reste que dans les deux situations, quand tu as le dessus ou quand tu n'as pas le dessus, c'est une game mentale, puis c'est être capable de voir la prochaine semaine comme juste une semaine next week up. Tu sais, un terme de c'est la prochaine semaine, c'est la prochaine équipe. Puis c'est la meilleure équipe cette journée-là qui va gagner. Puis c'est ça l'objectif, c'est être la meilleure équipe samedi.
Vous arrivez quand même dans un bon état d'esprit, j'imagine, avec 6 victoires d'affilée. C'est-tu la meilleure, peut-être, mindset que vous avez eue pour les affronter cette année?
Ouais, je pense que oui, parce que si on regarde l'année passée, on les a affrontés 2 fois de suite en fin de saison, puis on les a perdus, ces matchs-là. Donc là, on est sur une lancée de victoires. On est sur une lancée de 6 victoires. Ça va être 7 victoires samedi. Je me devance dans mes quotes. Mais si on est sur une lancée de 6 victoires, puis c'est complètement différent. C'est pas la même situation. C'est même situation au niveau des équipes qui s'affrontent, mais au niveau de l'environnement puis de qu'est-ce qui entoure l'équipe, c'est complètement différent.
Moi, je suis toujours curieux. Là, je vais toujours regarder c'est quoi les spreads qu'ils offrent pour chacune des rencontres. Quand les gars ouvrent leur téléphone et ils voient 10 points de spread, ils sont-tu comme piqués au vif un peu? Ou...
Moi, je suis chanceux, je suis pas de site de paris en ligne, donc je vois pas ces spreads-là, mais évidemment, tu sais qu'on va... Tu regardes juste en début d'année, là. Ils nous ont mis 9e au classement. Ouais. Comprenable, on avait un nouveau directeur général, un nouveau head coach, mais je trouve qu'il y avait quand même beaucoup de joueurs qui étaient là de l'année passée. On s'est rendu en finale de l'Est, en demi-finale canadienne, puis je trouve que c'était un peu un manque de respect, donc c'est pour... Honnêtement, c'est quelque chose que... Yeah, c'est du bruit à l'extérieur, je me laisse pas affecter par ça, puis tu sais que à l'inverse, si tu veux être la meilleure équipe, il faut que tu battes la meilleure équipe. Nous, on se considère comme la meilleure équipe, mais en ce moment, selon les fiches, selon le spread, c'est eux autres la meilleure équipe, donc ça va être à nous de le prouver.
Just on the same thread, I mean, no one's picking the Alouettes to win the Grey Cup, but you'll see people pick the rest of the 3 teams left. Do you guys use that as bulletin board material at all?
I mean, as far as I know, no, we haven't been too much concentrated on that. You know, honestly, those type of outside noise is not something that we're concerned with. We're mostly focused on ourselves. And look, if they want to doubt us, go ahead. Give us fuel to prove them wrong.
Darnell, correct me if I'm wrong, but you never played in a Grey Cup game.
Nope.
You travel a lot. You know, you played for. You're part of a bunch of NFL teams. Same thing in the CFL. What would it mean for you, you know, to be able to win on Saturday and get to the Big Ten?
I mean, you know, that's what everybody's working to, you know, throughout the whole year. Throughout the whole season, we put hours and hours of preparation in, grinding with our brothers all day long. You know, coaches putting in long hours. Everything leads up to the Grey Cup. So, you know, it's just a dream come true. You know, I'm just incredibly blessed to be here, and, you know, I'm just thankful.
I know past games don't count, but how big is it that you won the last 6 facing Toronto this week?
You know, yeah, I mean, like you said, the past doesn't really count, but we do feel like we have some type of what's the word? Yeah, momentum. Yeah, like we have some momentum going into it. Obviously, they're a great team. That's the beautiful thing about playoffs is, you know, I mean, sure we have momentum, but when it comes down to it, it's 12 on 12, and once the clock starts, it's go time. So it doesn't matter.
That last game against Toronto was the last game you guys lost, and it seemed as though that the middle of that week between those 2 games against Toronto, something happened there. Some of the injured players came back, but I'm sure it left a bitter taste in your mouth, that loss against Toronto there. Does that linger in your mind, and now knowing that you have what you need to be able to beat them?
Yeah, I mean, we felt like we had what we needed before. You know, it's just, I mean, you know, sometimes the game doesn't go in your favor. You know, we made some crucial mistakes that game, and we ended up losing. You know, they're a great team, well coached, well disciplined, and sometimes a littlest mistake can lead to a loss. You know, so it's going to be a great game. I'm excited, and you know, it's going to be fun.
I think that was your first game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was your first one. How much have you picked up from the defense here, just schematically and everything since then? Like, how much more comfortable are you?
Yeah, you know, that was my first game. I had
I think flew in on Monday and played played the whole game. So but when it comes down to it, football is football. So sure, I'm more comfortable in the system now. I feel like I could do a better job of leading the team, and I just feel like every single week I've been progressing more and more and more, and I'm just excited to go out there, and I know Coach Thorpe trusts me to do what I got to do, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to get a victory.
I'm curious what the challenge is with their stopping their running game. Like, what are they good at? Because they seem to he's a downhill runner too. So I'm curious what the challenge with them is.
Yeah. Ola, he's a powerful back. He runs like you said. I think one thing he really is he runs behind his pads. So it takes multiple guys to get him down. So I as far as I know, I think he has 4 yards after contact, which is very good for a running back. And if we hit him hard early. I think that we'll do what we got to do. Obviously we want to be the best in the game, and we pride ourselves in our tackling and our hunting to the ball and creating turnovers. So that's what we're going to try to do, and it's going to be a battle. So we're excited.
You beat 2 teams 4 times this season, Ottawa and Hamilton. Every time the week before, you told us how tough it is to beat a team 4 times in the same season. What are you going to do this week to beat that tough team to beat 4 times?
Well, I think we're going to prepare like we have all year. I mean, we've done our due diligence each and every week, putting a plan together, allowing our guys rest, allowing our guys to mentally get ready for the game, physically be ready for the game, do what we do. And then you go out and you play the game with expectations that you put enough work in, that your expectations should be high to win. And that's what we'll do again this week. We know what we're up against. We've talked about it. We're excited about the opportunity to face a team that's, gone 16-2, has been the class of the East all year and defending Grey Cup champs. And we know how difficult it is going to be to go in that building. But our expectations is that we're going to go in there to win. And that's what our awareness is. But our focus is on every single day getting better, which we have done every day this year.
You like being such a heavy underdog?
I don't care. I do not care one bit. I don't think our team cares one bit about what other people outside of our locker room think's going to happen. We haven't paid much mind to that all year. I certainly have not paid any mind to that. I've been so focused on our team and growing everything and getting better every week and trying to get our guys and us trying to get our guys to play at the highest level we can possibly play. Thinking about those things doesn't help you win, in my opinion. So, we're just focused on ourselves and trying to be the best versions of ourselves. We know that's what it's going to take. I think there's been a lot of lessons learned throughout this season, in particular playing against this team a few times. I feel like we've learned a lot of lessons along the way. It's about time we put those to action.
Just talking about that, before the 6-game winning streak, the last loss was against Toronto, and in the middle of those 2 Toronto games, you had some key pieces also return to action. It was a hard-fought game that you guys ended up losing, but how much can you take from that second game of that doubleheader?
Yeah, I think 2 of the 3 games. The one game coming across the country, we played in BC, came across. They were on a bye. We were coming, across the country, and we gave them a hard-fought game at home. And then that last game that you're talking about absolutely had the lead to the very end. And, they make some plays down the stretch. We've watched that tape quite a bit and, know that it was right there for us. We just didn't capitalize. And there were a lot of things that we could do better, particularly down the stretch in that game to have a victory in our hands. Sometimes, and I've said it before all season, we don't look at losses as anything but learning. And, we had our learning to do during the season. I think we're just looking forward to working this week and putting those lessons to test in another game, a high-stakes game that we're all excited about.
Any word on Antwi? Is he going to be disciplined at all? I know you weren't expecting some, but did you hear differently?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to become public or anything like that. So I'd rather not say right now what the course of action is going to be. I know we'll know here shortly, and we'll plan accordingly.
Still just anticipating a fine and not
I would think so. I think the precedent kind of was set, I think, the week before when something similar happened and there was just fines handed out. But, obviously it's a playoff game and there are eyes on it and all that. But we'll let the league rule on it and then go from there.
Will you ask the owner to pay the fine?
That's
We asked the general
honestly,
manager to ask the owner to pay the fine.
At the end of the day, it's. I'll say this, we've talked about it in house, and we've said it all week. There was nothing that team could do to us that would make an action like that happen. It did happen. The thing I was proud of about Antwi was, he knew he messed up when he went on the field, and he could have made it far worse and didn't because of how disciplined he is. But that's a natural reaction when one of your best friends gets punched. I think your natural reaction is to go out and protect, but you can't do it. I mean, that's a rule in our league, and it's an undisciplined action, and I think he feels remorse for it, and ultimately learned from it. But I think he also did a very good job of restraining himself once he was out there and realized what he had done. So I know what kind of man Antwi is, and I'm very thankful he's on our team. But at the end of the day, you got to be held accountable for your actions, and I think Antwi will do that.
You guys have won now 7 in a row. Whether it's in your coaching career, 6 in a row. Yeah. Sorry, I'll do 7 on Saturday. Yeah. So I guess I just tipped my hand who I'm picking on Saturday. But whether it's in your coaching career or playing career, have you been part of a team that was that had the hot hand, so to speak, going into the playoffs like that?
I mean, I think I want to say in 17 we were pretty hot going in. I don't know how many we won in a row. I know we were pretty streaky that year. We started the year really hot and then had some injuries and lost some games, kind of similar to this year with the streaks. I think we ended the year very hot there. I don't recall what the exact streaks were, but I mean, I think it's been proven in this league, in the CFL, you'd like to be as hot as possible going into the playoffs. But that's history, and those previous games, don't have a lot of say in the next one that you're playing. It's just about a confidence that you have in your building, the good feelings, the good vibes that you want. You want to have confidence going into every single game, and when you stack games like that and you're playing good football, and we've been doing it now for a couple months, I think that's what you are. And I think our guys understand that if we put the work in and we focus on that, just ourselves getting better, competing against one another, not worrying about the other team, that's when we're at our best. And that's why I'll believe in us to the end. And I'm very, very excited. I think we're all excited about this opportunity.